Welcome, everyone. Amy Engelmark here. Today's class is Passion to Profit, and I'm thrilled you're all here with me live. For those of you who are watching the replay, you're going to need a pen and paper. My training is always like a bit of a fire hose. I give you as much as I can, and then if we have time at the end, I'll open up space for Q&A. So this training is for you if you are a brand new entrepreneur or you are an established business owner and you want to expand your income. It will help in both scenarios. So, we're going to be focusing on some of the focus points, the top themes that I teach in my Passion to Profit program. Definitely don't have time to go into all of them, but I'll give you a little story, a little background on myself. I live here on Vancouver Island and in Canada, and we have three very large children, 18, 20, and 25, in the house with us. So soon I will be flying the nest instead of them flying the nest, I guess. And I started my business back in 2012, speaking, writing, business and leadership consulting, primarily working with entrepreneurs, and that expanded to working in finance, healthcare, and organizations that are typically under a lot of pressure and facing change to the left and the right. And these organizations and leaders want to see career growth. Sometimes they're in career transitions and they want to be able to navigate uncertainty with confidence while they achieve their professional dreams. So that is my expertise is stress mastery, emotional regulation, and then the hard skills of business growth. What does it take to expand our income without sacrificing ourselves on that altar, right? We want to be able to keep our health and our energy and our relationships intact as we expand. So, we're today going to be talking about the three mistakes. Make sure you have a pen and paper. I'm going to dive in. The three mistakes that I see business owners making that hold them back from the growth that they want. And then what that results in, some solutions I'm going to share with you today. And my hope is that it will give you insight and more of a clear action plan to move forward with in 2026 so that next year is even more amazing than this year was. This year may have been very fruitful for you, and you could have overcome a lot of personal things and professional growth may have happened, but 2026 can be a brand new year and even more amazing in ways that you haven't dreamt of. So that's my desire. Clear insight for you today into yourself, more self-awareness, and then some hard skills and structure to help you make that happen in 2026. Let's look at these mistakes I see. I see number one is letting negative or limiting self-talk hold you back from pursuing your dreams. That's one of the biggest mistakes I see business owners making, and usually we're not as aware of that hindrance and that inner obstacle as we would benefit from being. The second mistake is avoiding marketing and sales. And you could be marketing, but not finding it very fruitful, not finding your efforts are really paying off. Or maybe some of you are marketing and you're noticing that it's just making you really tired and you feel like your loose ends are all getting frayed and feeling scattered. The third mistake I see business owners making is not having a clear plan for the new year and 2026. And again, spreading yourself thin so that your business activities feel more like you're scrambling to get ahead Instead of being proactive, you're being reactive. So let's take charge and create a plan. So this time of year, people are thinking, I wish I could find someone to help me solve this problem that I'm facing. It's at the end of the year. 2025 is coming to an end, and people are feeling like, okay, I've got this pain. It's either physical in my body, and I need you to help me solve it. It's in my relationships, it's in my bank account, it's an income issue, whatever it is, they have a pain and they're looking for someone, a specific someone, and that person is you, to help them solve it. And usually people are, fairly tired at this point in the year. They're ready for a break and they're hoping that next year will be better than this year. They could have accomplished a lot, like you may have accomplished a lot this year that you're proud of, but they're also hoping for, they have renewed hope for 2026 that something could be different. And you're the person who can help them find that solution. It's really dangerous when we let fear keep us stagnant and not able to help those people. It leads to no progress when we're not aware of insecurities or doubt or overthinking instead of acting, or fears that could be stalling us from making the progress that we want in a way that feels lighter. I was just on a call with someone, one of my private clients, and this person was talking about how he felt so afraid of this one action that he wanted to take to move his business forward. And it was clear to him how the fear was clouding his vision and freaking out his nervous system and stopping him from taking action. So we need to remove these fears and insecurities. It's also really dangerous when we have unclear messaging in social media posts, in our emails to potential clients, in our messaging from the stage, because it confuses people. And then we lose opportunities and we lose sales when our message is unclear. It's confusing. When we avoid marketing or sales, then people can't find you. And that is usually because of two reasons why we avoid marketing or sales. We're lacking the confidence. Our thinking is off about marketing and sales, so we procrastinate or avoid. And then we're lacking the clear hard skills or structure piece, the business side of things, to be able to execute on the marketing and sales piece. And then if we have no plan, then we are always scrambling. Like I said, we are living reactively as business leaders. And then you have no repeatable income generating framework to be able to make sure sales are consistently coming in and increasing, right? What's landing for you already? I'd like you to put in the chat there where you feel like, yeah, I can really connect with that one mistake that I mentioned, or the outcome that I don't want to experience because of maybe a habit that I've been practicing. If you would type that in the chat to give me your feedback, I would love to hear. It's also really helpful for me as your teacher in today's class to have that interaction and that feedback so that I can see we're tracking together. So I'll just take a sip here while you do that. I literally still have my tea bag in this glass of water. Okay, while you're adding your thoughts to the comments, I'll move forward. So today I'm going to help you overcome those internal obstacles you might not know you even have, so that you can take action, you can achieve your career dreams, you can increase your income, you can help more people. Then I'm going to show you how to create clear messaging and refine your messaging so you're more articulate and you're hitting the bullseye. You feel other people who you want to work with feel like you are basically reading their minds, which is a highly sought after skill. And then what happens is you start standing out from others around you and you become the go-to person instead of a generalist. The third thing we're going to do is help you develop more of an authentic, tailored plan for yourself to make more sales in 2026. So let's see what some of you said. Elisa, okay. Carly. Oh, yeah, Joanne, no problem. Carly, you said getting clear with the messaging for the mission, strategy for 2026. Okay, great. We'll definitely be focused on that. Ray, number 2 and 3, really need to put a plan together and find someone to drive your marketing. Wonderful. Elisa, constantly working on the self-doubt piece, especially when hitting publish on anything. Yeah, that can be nerve-wracking. And Arletta says delegating tasks to streamline her workflow. So excited to be here with you all. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, so we're going to overcome fears, right? We're going to create clear messaging that's magnetic for your ideal clients, and then create a plan for sales in 2026. And then if we have time, there will be Q&A at the end. I mean, I need to remember to slow down, maybe drink more of my herbal tea than my coffee. And and make sure I can be fully present with you because I get so excited teaching. So, before we move forward, let me chime in, get you to chime in with me and let me know who is a brand new entrepreneur in the room is making between $0 and $5,000 a month. You can just put 0 to 5. Who is making between 5 and 10,000 a month? Write that 5 to 10 in the chat. If it's 10 to 30 a month, 10 to 30, and then 30 and above. So I just want to gauge who we have in the room and what skills I might want to transfer onto you today and share in my storytelling. So what's coming in? Okay, Joanne says 0 to 5, 0 to 5, 0 to 5, 0 to 5. Okay, lots of 0 to 5s. All right, so this is fun. It's going to be good. I thought there'd be a combination of 0 to 5, 5 to 10 a month. And also, we know as entrepreneurs that income can fluctuate month to month. So let's look at what's the story in your head. I know at one point in my career, I was held back by this, oh, so many beliefs, you guys. I was held back by that I didn't know were impacting my ability to take courageous action and take risks in business so that I could get the reward. One of them was people aren't going to buy from me. People don't want to, not going to, but they actually don't want to buy from me at X season in the year. And we make up these stories and then we believe them without even questioning them. We're making up these stories, these assumptions. Some of the other beliefs that I had were, well, one, of course, we don't know, right? I'm going to bring you down to my seat. I'm sitting down. Another one was, I can't be spiritual and wealthy at the same time. It's just not possible. I can't make more money than my parents made. That would be disrespectful. Something about sales is bad. And I realized, I'm judging people who sell, thinking that they're shallow and they only care about the money and they don't actually care about the people. And I wouldn't want to be someone like that. So I'm going to avoid sales. I want you, as I'm giving these examples, to write down some thoughts that you think you might be thinking that would stop you from pursuing the activities that you're pretty sure would create breakthrough and allow more sales to come into your business. Here's some other ones. I don't even know what I would say on my next sales call. I'm not going to pursue that idea because the work will be too hard. I don't know how I would keep my relationships intact or still make time for myself if I was marketing more or selling more often or. So I'm not going to pursue that career idea. It won't be worth it. Are there even any people who will buy from me? How do I find my next speaking engagement? How do I make time for my creative work that requires deep work while I'm balancing the marketing activities? So, what's the story in your head? I want you to, if you're feeling brave enough, you know, um, I would suggest you put some of the thoughts that are in your head into the chat. So, what do you think one story in your head is that's causing resistance? Maybe it's around marketing, maybe it's around sales, maybe how wanted your service is or not. People won't pay you how much you want to be paid. It's that basically the wine cork in your wine bottle that's stopping you from receiving the income you could be receiving. And sometimes we think, I don't have a mindset problem. I don't need help with mindset, Amy. I just teach me some sort of business strategy. So I'm going to teach you business strategy, but mindset is more of an issue than you might be aware of. Okay, so Arletta, you say time is limited as a work from home mom of a toddler. Oh my goodness, is it ever? What's the next best move? Analysis paralysis. I wonder if your limiting thought is, if I summarized it, would be I don't have the time. There's not enough time. And Joanne says imposter syndrome. I'm being annoying and pushy. Oh, I can relate, Joanne. I felt the same way. Ray, I hate marketing. Yes, that would be a block. Yeah. So there's likely still some deeper stories around why you hate marketing.
No, I just generally hate sales.
You hate sales. Yeah,
All of my clients come from recommendations from other clients or from me speaking from a stage.
right.
That's
Hmm. And
I don't
so,
ever go out and go, "Oh, I've got this great program. Let me." Doesn't happen.
yeah, and so that's what I want to get into at the end of today's call is what does it look like to build out a marketing plan that's way different than I think it has to look, that would make me feel so relieved that I don't have to do it like everyone else. You want that too, Arletta? Let's do it. So, Michelle, I'm a bit of in a transition in my career and starting something new and trying to get clear on what that looks like now. Okay, great. I love working in career transitions. And Carly says that constantly making posts asking for sponsors is annoying and also needed to finish. Can't want can't wait to be done asking for sponsorships and being self-sufficient, I think. Uh, so thank you so much, everybody, for sharing from the heart in the chat. It's really helpful for me to know the thoughts in your mind and helpful for you to know what's going on inside of you so that when we have clarity, we can do something about it and transform thinking patterns. Hi, Cassandra. Nice to see you. Okay, so we can't change our thinking patterns just by overriding or arguing with ourselves. It doesn't shift anything. Those thinking patterns have been almost cemented into our subconscious, sometimes for years, sometimes for decades. And we can dig our heels in and say, there's nothing that I can do to change the situation. That thought is truth. Or you can rewire your subconscious, your thought patterns. And I use my inner freedom framework. So I'm going to teach those steps to you now. There's 4 steps. The first is to notice the story in your head. So notice if you're taking notes. The second is to question it. If you have read anything about neural reprogramming, then you're aware that when we, metaphorically speaking, when we wiggle a thought pattern on brain imaging scans, it looks like a little tree and actually has roots. And it decreases the brightness of that thought pattern on the brain imaging scan, and it starts to become more gray just by questioning a thought. And when you question, you're asking yourself, is this fact? Is it assumption? Do I actually have solid proof? And is the quote proof just from my life, what's happened in my past, that makes me think that that thought is true? Or is it showing up all around me? Is everyone the same as me? Or is it a me issue? Right? Just start digging around in there and questioning the thought, because then you're wiggling and you're weakening that old thought pattern, and you have the opportunity to plant a new seed. So, the third step in the inner freedom framework is to choose. Notice, question, and then choose. Choose the new thought that would support the outcome you want to create. So, for example, Arletta said, I don't have the time. That's such a common story. I've had it lots. I don't have the time. And when you don't have the time, you don't make the time. But when you think, I always have more than enough time for the things that are my priorities, your body relaxes and you start noticing the pockets of time that you do have and how you could creatively and resourcefully prioritize the business activities that will create the income and the impact that you want. So it's a combo. We start noticing, questioning, and then choosing a new thought. And after that is the fourth step, which is building proof. Your reticular activating system in your brain, its job is to show you proof of your thoughts. So right now it's showing you proof of your current thoughts, and sometimes that's not helpful. So there's too much going on. For example, there's too much going on in my personal life. I'm overwhelmed and I don't have time to do X in my business. Then my RAS, my reticular activating system, goes, you're right. See, life is too busy. So and so needs you, and so needs you, and the chores need to be done. And then you find yourself without enough time, and it perpetuates the problem. So, this is how we change our thought patterns. When you build proof, it's like you are bringing the new thought up for president. You only need to build enough proof that you maybe like 51% you have new proof that something else is true. And then the new president in your brain wins the election seat. Okay, so what is, you can write down for yourself. We're going to move quickly. You can use that framework for transforming any thought pattern. And we know that when we transform thoughts, our habits naturally transform and our outcomes naturally transform. You can, if you want, write down the new thought that you'd like to choose as a replacement. But you don't have to. If you're already aware of, yeah, I know the new thought that I want to start believing, try not to make it too far-fetched in the future or too expansive, because your body might feel uncomfortable by that, and you could just incrementally expand your belief a little bit by a little bit. So, Ray, you said I can write down a thought that I have already overcome with a new thought. Yes, I would love to see that. Just reading. There is enough time. Hmm. It helps me relax and notice, oh, okay, I do have time with my kids. I can find time with my kids, and I can find time for this business activity that is urgent, truly urgent, not just feels urgent. Ray says that sending follow-up messages to potential clients is not bugging them. They need the reminder because they are busy and things get lost in the mix. Hallelujah. I agree. Um, it's caring. It's um, persistent on their behalf. And we can get more into that, but I love that. So let's talk about your art, creating a more articulate message now so that you can get clear for your people, stop confusing them, and help them find you. You don't want to lose sales, you want to increase sales. So let's look at your value proposition framework. In 1 to 2 sentences, this is basically clearly explaining the value that you already know how to provide, the solution to the Tylenol, not the vitamin problem people have, but the Tylenol problem that keeps them up at night. The one that's like, this is painful and I need a solution now, and I'm willing to pay someone for it who is the right person. So, your value propositions about explaining the value, the result that your ideal client will receive, so people can say yes to you right now. Okay, they can find you and they can say yes to you. So, the framework that is just a very simple fill in the blank framework that you can use is here. I'll put this in the chat so that you can copy and paste. Can everyone see that? I help, so you're getting clear on the specific person or group that you already serve or you want to serve next. Because if you're in a career transition or you want to, say you've been working with private clients and you want to work with corporate, or you've been working with one people group and you want to target the people who are truly your bread and butter clients. They have no problem paying you. You might want to restructure your value proposition to serve a new type of clientele now. So write these things down. Who I help, that's the first thing you want to get clear on. The second is their current struggle or that pain, that Tylenol pain that they're suffering from. And then the third is the desired result. What is it that they keep dreaming about? And that's very different if you're speaking with private or corporate. The outcomes that they will pay you for is very different. The last two steps are how you help. So it's your methodology, maybe your expertise or your experience, and then the meaningful outcome, the result that is way more valuable than the investment that they will give you. So it's like they think not not they're not as apprehensive about handing over the investment to work with you because the value of the outcome is so powerful and so life transformative. So I'll give you an example. This isn't from my life, but you could say that you help busy professionals or professionals on the brink of burnout move from feeling overwhelmed and stuck in their careers to confidently taking action by simplifying their priorities and their decision making so that they can make progress without burning out. I would get even more clear on that with the results so that they can increase income without burning out. So there's one example. My task for you today is to get way more laser focused and specific than you think you need to be about who exactly it is you help, the Tylenol pain they're suffering from, and let's get clear on this. Some people have vitamin pain that you're trying to solve, and they don't care about it as much because their Tylenol pain is way more troublesome, causes them lack of sleep, makes them lose income. Maybe it makes their team underperform. Maybe it creates disengagement on their team. Maybe it costs them their health because they don't know how to balance their lives. So get really clear on what they want versus what you know they need in order to get the result. We're going to go a little bit deeper into that when I talk about marketing. But for now, you might need to do some more research and you might need to have more conversations to hear about how they speak about their Tylenol problem so that you know what they're happy to pay you for, the result they're happy to pay you for. Any questions on this? I see some comments coming in. Hmm. Yeah, it's helpful to get to know what their Tylenol and their vitamin problems are or pain points. I would lead with the Tylenol. Yeah.
Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
I obviously serve a fairly broad range of clients, and I know that I've niched down to very specific ones in certain things, but would you use the framework and come up with this sort of solution set here for each of those? Or are you looking, or do you think it's a better approach to have one overarching?
For your value proposition, Ray? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I would have one overarching statement, but it will change depending on who you're in the room with, right? Like, Ray, if I'm in the room with a whole bunch of corporate leaders, executives like, I don't know, like um, diversity, equity, and inclusion, HR leaders, um, CEOs, I'm going to be asking questions that pertain to their engagement and their retention and their performance and their profit, their team well-being. I won't be talking about mm, their personal income goals, or I won't be talking about mm, resistance to marketing or maybe prioritizing their own health, but they will still, with your language, see how you can help them in their personal lives if you do want to help corporate leaders one to one and also work from the stage, speaking and training their teams. They'll still understand with your overarching statement how you could help them in their personal lives and they'll ask more questions. Mhm. All right. Anyone else have questions? Okay, let's keep going. So we need to make a plan. When we have a clear value proposition, but we have no plan, no plan of action for marketing, then we can't guarantee any sales. They will be like a slow burn, and we'll be hoping that people will find us, but that leads to more of a hobby than a consistent income, right? So you got to choose for yourself. Am I both feed in? And if I am, then I need to be proactive. So here's some questions you can start asking yourself. Who am I already associated with that I could help in a transformative way? And some of you have years, loads of experience and knowledge. Maybe you're in a career transition though. And so you're looking for where do I start? Where do I focus my energy in this marketing plan? And how can I help many people at once how can I prioritize my time so that I'm using it effectively and efficiently to shorten the sales cycle and reach more people at once in a way that doesn't feel overwhelming to me, because then you won't do it. Doesn't feeling like it's going to tire me out, because then you won't do it. How can I do it in a way that feels light, energizing, and is more like it pulls me forward, this plan, right? Right, might want to write down those words. What type of marketing excites me, even if it requires me to get out, expand my comfort zone? What type of marketing, there's lots of different ways you can market, whether it's speaking from the stage, like Ray was talking about. Elliot does a lot of this as well, whether it's training teams and pitching yourself internally in organizations, nonprofits, possibly for profit, whether it's social media, consistency, your email community, um, ads. There's so many ways that you can market, and we need to align them with our strengths instead of trying to copy someone else, or we will get turned off and we won't be able to sustain our efforts and we'll feel frustrated with ourselves. So instead of comparing yourself to somebody else or how they created success, here's a really important encouragement. Stay in your lane. Focus on what you're good at and start creating the marketing plan from your strengths. You will be much more effective. So I asked you, who are you already associated with? That gives you an example. And I don't just mean current or past professional colleagues in your business circles. I mean, too, it could be people on your street that you have connection to. What type of industries are they in? It's so fascinating to me how business can expand naturally without hardly any sense of, I did that. You can't really take responsibility for it. Let me give you an example. When I first started out in my coaching practice, I had a very close friend, still a very close friend, who is a family doctor. And because of her, my connection with her, I started working with family doctors one to one, which led to speaking engagements at really prestigious places where healthcare leaders met, and I could influence lives one to many with my trainings and my framework, which I'm so honored to be able to have the opportunity to do. And that wasn't because I went searching to work with family doctors. I did not foresee that turn of events. Has anyone else experienced that where it's like, this is so wild, I had no clue I'd be working with this type of person or helping them with this type of thing? Anyone else? Or I'm the only one? Meh. Yeah. Kaz said yes.
Yeah, it's so interesting. So I'm very much in the same world of burnout prevention and working with women in healthcare leadership. That's definitely my target market. But I've been getting a lot of clients who want to work on relationship. So that's really interesting because that's not what I anticipated, but makes sense because I'm very focused on connection. It's one of my driving needs. And so interesting how that has happened a few times where my clients I thought were going to be one thing and turned into more around connection and dating and relationships.
So interesting. Another something that's happened naturally for me is because of your values, you'll start noticing where there's a mission match with certain types of clients or organizations. They're a match for your values. And you can look at how does my mission match with theirs if you haven't started working with that type of client or organization, corporate client yet. Um, I also started working with men in wealth management and banking, finance, and I love that group of people because I'm very passionate about money. I'm passionate about financial security and freedom and abundance and flexibility. And so I'm able to help on the personal side and the professional side in that industry. But I had no clue at the beginning of my career that that would be something I'd be passionate about or people I'd be working with. So let's start mapping out a plan for you. Let's get back to that plan and marketing. So who am I already associated with? Where might there be opportunities for me to be proactive and reach out to those people and offer my services now that I have a more refined value proposition? That if I didn't give you hardly any time to work on that today, but if we were together live, we could have mapped it out. You now have an updated framework for you to use. Now that you have that value proposition, these are the people who I can reach out to and say, hey, I have this idea for your organization. This is where I see a mission match between myself and what you want to achieve. And this is what I suggest. So it's time to get creative and resourceful. I want you to write down any of the past clients you've been working with in the past 6 months, and maybe some of you are brand new, so this might not apply to you, but this is a great fact-finding exercise. I want you to write down, where did those clients come from? This exercise gives you clues on where your marketing activity pays off. So some of you are already going to have a clear idea of where to focus your marketing energy in 2026 and even in the next 2 weeks. October, November, December, January, this is such a strong month for being able to support people to overcome their pain and get the results that they want. You might be thinking, no, they just want to focus on family. It's Christmas time. They're busy. They're not looking for this support. I beg to differ. This is a time where people want your support. So don't be telling yourself a story. So, where did those clients come from? Did they come from speaking engagements? Did they come from referrals like Ray was talking about? Did they come from dance classes that you attended? No joke. Some of my favorite clients I've met doing the things that I love to do. Don't stop living your life because living your life fully energizes you, and people with similar values will be at those locations. Place yourself in the locations that your ideal clients hang out. Where do my ideal clients spend their time? Is it industry associations that I could attend? Is it larger conferences that I could attend or speak at? Is it, I don't know, put some ideas down in there. Ray says he has potential executive coaching client because he ate at a Vietnamese restaurant. That's so great. Yeah. If you're open to clients coming, finding you anywhere, instead of thinking small about like, oh yeah, my clients are going to come from social media, or my clients are going to come from LinkedIn alone, or my clients are going to come from referrals alone. Careful with that, right? We have to sow the seeds intentionally, but they can come from anywhere. Might meet someone on a dog walk, right? Be open, stay open, and uh, and start writing down, where do my people hang out? What publications do they read? What do they watch online? What continuing education do they constantly sign up for? And then you can strategically place yourself there to meet them. So, where do my people hang out? Where did I get my past clients from? These give you clues. Who am I already associated with that I could be creative and more resourceful and more, ideally, more courageous? Because you're going to need to overcome old thinking and then put a strategic plan together so you have structure to give you more confidence when you make your pitch. And then how could you solve a problem in a way that would energize you instead of tire you out, make you feel like you're spread thin? How could you solve their problem in a way that would energize you and possibly allow you to collect more data about this people group? Sometimes we think, oh, I've got to market myself, but I've got to know all the answers. Well, that's a unrealistic pressure you're putting on yourself. We don't have all the answers until we have more info. So, how could you build community or insert yourself into community so that you can hear them talking about their own pain points and then use their language when you talk back to them? Then you will make them feel like you're reading their mind. Remember? So we have just a short amount of time for Q&A, and then I'm going to share for those of you who are interested in my Passion to Profit program. I'm going to give you the opportunity to find out more about that program. We start January 13th, and I'm going to support you for 6 months, and it's going to be amazing the results you're going to achieve. Um, I'm hoping as we wrap up, you started getting ideas when I asked you that question about creating the structure for your plan for 2026. You started getting clarity on who your people are that are your bread and your butter income generating opportunities, and then where they hang out, how you could reach them, what you might offer them. All of this clarity starts stimulating creativity and resourcefulness and courage. So I'll leave you with a question that helps to increase motivation so you actually get your butt out the door, so to speak, and you take action instead of overthinking or overplanning. And that is, what's the cost if I live timidly? What's the cost if I live timidly? If I live small? What's the cost? So I'd love to hear on your end, what's the cost for you? Can you put it in the chat, please? I'd love to read. You might write down the cost to your health, the cost to your business, the cost to your family, the cost to the clients who don't get to work with you, whatever is top of mind. Carly said she'd probably save a lot of money. Ray said, not able to serve as many people as I could. Yeah. Less impact and expression of voice, says Cassandra, which is a disservice to my mission in life to create meaningful impact. Right. Andrea says there's a cost to me to feeling disappointed and dejected if I don't live my dreams. Yeah, personal cost. Disappointment to self. Michelle also chimed in. Yeah, I agree. I feel like one of the biggest costs is knowing that we're not doing what we want to do. Knowing that we have more we could accomplish and a potential that we could reach, and we're not being brave enough to bet on ourselves and go for it and just explore and allow ourselves to learn along the way. That's a pretty big cost that we pay. And Ray, make an impact that matters. Yeah, it's a great mission statement. So, what do I stand to gain is the next question I'd like you to answer in the chat. What do I stand to gain? How good could it get is another way of asking yourself that question. Throw in the first thing that comes to mind. Tons of joy and a lot of money to boot. Yeah. And I've learned too that sometimes that can come like a windfall and like overwhelm you with goodness. And it's not when you stop making your growth reliant on the income. Of course, we all want income growth because it's a result of, well, it brings more freedom, um, this freedom to be generous and to fund our dreams and pursue our assignment. We need money for that. But more than that, it gives us the freedom to fully express our creative skills. And that feels amazing. It makes you feel fully alive, right? Okay, what else are you guys saying here? Well, you stand to gain being sought after for your unique expertise, Cassandra. Yes. Joanne, you stand to gain freedom, whatever that means to you. Money, time, unlimited dreaming, soul filling. Yeah, we all need soul filling. Carly, to help so many of elders live with quality and ease. That's beautiful. Andrea, living my business fully without needing other support and lots of events and networking and meeting people and joy. So, community is what I hear there. Seeing entrepreneurs shine um, and make the world a better place. I had something really troubling happen about 2.5 years ago, and it was a real wake-up call in my life. It was really disturbing, and it took me some time to get over. And some of you know what that is. Anyways, I thought my first thought was, God, why did that have to happen in my life? Why couldn't that have happened in someone else's life? And then the second that what I felt like I heard back was that it was actually a gift that I got to be the one that happened to because I started seeing the world differently. And I get a bit emotional thinking about that time. Sometimes the challenges that we go through equip us with a new perspective and a new appreciation and a new drive. Because after that happened in my life, I'm happy to share with you guys all personally when that time comes. I realized that our time here on Earth is limited and we don't have as much control over how long we live as we think or we would like to think. And so we need to be living as fully as we can to be making the impact that we want. So we are almost at the hour. I left a bit of flexibility so for Q&A and also to tell you about Passion to Profit. Maybe we'll open the call for, say, 5, 7 minutes of questions if you have questions or you have some comments, maybe your biggest takeaway. And then I'll tell you about the Passion to Profit opportunity if you'd like support to achieve those career dreams over 2026. Happy to give you guidance and strategy and structure, and I'll tell you what the main focus points of the program are about. So feel free to unmute and share with me any questions or biggest takeaways. I'd love to answer and hear those takeaways.
I'm not sure if you saw the note. I've got to jump. I've got a call with speaking engagement for 2026.
Yay!
Thank you so much. This was amazing. Love
Great.
you so much.
I
Y'all be
love you
well.
too. Let's talk soon. Ray and I work together. He's so wonderful. All right. Feel free to unmute if you have any questions or if you just want to say something about the training today that was an insight for you or top value.
I appreciate your insights and your prompts and the simplification of the things to do. It's nice kind of having these like journaling moments in business to like get clear on things. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I really appreciate, Avi, your energy and your passion. And I really loved thinking more about the Tylenol problem. I think I get a little aspirational and, what I love and believe in, but I also need to solve that problem. And I think that will lead me to a greater business success. And Sorry, I'm not on camera because I've been traveling today with going to see a community of people, which I love. So,
Good.
so I'm glad I could do both. Thanks, everybody.
Well, we're super happy to have you here, and your little avatar is a great thumbnail there. And I'm so happy to you know, to help you all think about um the main problem that you solve instead of all the different ways you could help people, because there are many tons of ways you could help people, but then you can lose their attention too when you try and cover everything. Anyone else want to share?
That's a very good point. It's like our capabilities are so like wide ranging, and it can be very chipmunky, being like, oh, let me help. But like saying no and not helping is a wonderful thing to focus and accomplish your big, problem that you want to solve.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. And the way that they talk about the problem is also very different than how we sometimes talk about the problem before we hear their language. So let me hop in. Arletta or Joanne, I don't want to cut you off if there's something that you wanted to share before I start sharing about the Passion to Profit program. Okay. You can feel free to pop it in the chat if you do want to mention something or have a question to ask. Let me share with you about this awesome program that I've created to help you increase your income and help you become more courageous and focused on action instead of overthinking or over planning or procrastination. So, Passion to Profit focuses on the daily habits and procedures necessary to refine your time use and create the highest ROI in your income and in your impact in people's lives. So instead of spreading yourself thin, I help you with the daily business habits that have transformed my business from, if you were following me on social media, from years where I only made $8,000 a year, talk about painful, to over six-figure years. And very, very different feeling in my body. And I would often feel scattered and spread thin and not know where to use my energy for the best payoff. So I want to share those strategies and daily habits with you. And then here's a more in-depth look on another part of the program, which is my client creation module. And it's helps you shorten the sales cycle from meeting potential client to income in your bank account. It gives you structure for that mapping out an easy, simple client journey. When someone, this is how I find people, this is what I say when I find them, this is how I take them from A to Z. And I cover everything in there for steps for relationship building to structure for sales conversations on phone, video, in person. And then another module is money mindset transformation. This is module number 3. The money mindset transformation is something that a lot of business owners don't feel they need, but is often directly connected to a cap on your income. Why? What the heck? Why is the money why do I just reach that income and then it's hard for me to surpass that? Do I need a business strategy? You actually probably need business strategy and money mindset, a new money mindset upgrade, new relationship with money. So I help you develop a new relationship with money, a new money blueprint, new money story for relating to money, and then helping you think differently about sales, about your self-worth. It's pretty in-depth and very rich and life transforming. Then we get into pricing and packaging. So, how do I price my service or my product in a way that helps me live my lifestyle and honor my values? Do I price one to many? Do I price? Do I do high ticket pricing? Do I charge per hour or for the value that my clients receive? So I cover all of that, and then how to create your menu of services if you don't have one yet, or maybe think I probably need to refine my menu of services. I get into teaching you about psychological buying behavior, what people are actually buying, and how to overcome objections. And then standout strategies. So that has everything to do with like time management 101, creating a clear marketing process that you actually will follow through on because it's something that you love to do or that you're good at. And for the speakers in my group programs, I also train on creating structure for your presentations, how to create compelling openings and calls to action so that you're not missing out on sales and opportunities, future opportunities, like how to tell your personal story and more storytelling in your marketing. It's very attractive and relatable, and yet sometimes we don't do it because it's very vulnerable and we don't want to be judged or criticized or for people to take it the wrong way, like we're bragging. Help you overcome that internal resistance. And the last thing I wanted to share with you today is on sales conversations. So sometimes the clients that I'm working with don't have any structure for their sales conversations. So we create an outline. There's an outline that I share with you and scripts that you can use. And they really help you feel like you're educating people to make their own informed decisions instead of you trying to pull any teeth or feel like you're pushing to create sales. This program starts January 13th, and this is a high-level overview of what I'll be teaching. We meet for 6 months on a weekly basis, and there's two ways to work with me. There's an investment option that's a monthly payment, and then there's one that's upfront that saves you $1,000. And I would suggest if you are wanting to explore my support to achieve your career dreams over 2026, that we book a 45 minute call to discuss the program, discuss your dreams and goals, discuss your personal challenges, and see if it's a good fit. So I have space in my schedule open tomorrow and then early next week before Christmas. So let's hop on a call and I'd love to hear what your questions are and support you. Any final closing thoughts before we wrap up the call? It was wonderful to have you with me, and it's going to be exciting to work with some of you starting in January. I'm really excited to see where your businesses will be in the new year. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. We'll talk with some of you soon. You can reach me here. I'll put, for those of you who don't have my contact info, I'll put it here. coacha@amyengelmark.com is my email. You can reach out to book one of those strategy calls with me there. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon.